Yeah.
Stand by. You're live.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Sam Kwak. Welcome back to our weekly Wednesdays of Mortgage Acceleration Q&A. Our phone lines are open again. I know a lot of you guys are. I know I had a lot of conversations in the week. People ask me questions about the mortgage acceleration questions, and I gave you guys a lot of our numbers for our studio line. So our studio line is 708-529-6527. Trust me, I'll memorize that one of these days. 708-529-6527. Our lines are open. Super excited. The day looks great outside. I think it's a perfect weather for us to talk about mortgages. In fact, it's any weather is great weather to talk about mortgages, unless it's hailing and it's the rapture outside. Then yeah, we probably don't want to talk about mortgages. But let's go and talk about that, right? Fun and exciting things that happened over the last few days. I've been able to have some conversations with individuals who used our strategy to pay off their mortgage completely. It's just those stories that I hear all the time that really motivates me, wakes me up in the morning to come to the office and come to the studio to share the good news about the strategy, right? Being able to pay off your mortgage within 5 to 7 years without having to make more money or changing your expenses. And that's something that I'm super motivated to. And of course, real estate investing is another thing that we like to talk about in our YouTube channel, in our studio. So yeah, let's go and take in calls. If you guys have any questions about the mortgage acceleration, debt acceleration, HELOC strategy, we may even take calls about real estate investing. You guys can go and call us in. But as far as I don't have any other objections that I get anymore. It's the three common objections that I see all the time is the interest rate being high on the HELOC, which I addressed it in a video. The fact that the HELOC can be called or it could be frozen. You know what? Let's talk about that, because I think that's a huge thing. I don't think I've addressed that officially on our YouTube channel just yet, but I get this question a lot, even having consultations with different clients. Is Sam, what happens if someone or a bank locks up my HELOC and they shut it down or they freeze it? Now, I'll tell you up front right now, the banks have the power and have the rights to freeze your HELOC, your line of credit, but there has to be a condition that needs to be met in order for that to happen. Now, one of the big reasons why we've seen HELOCs being frozen or being shut down in 2007, 2008 recession, in the market crash recession, mainly is because of over leverage. And what I mean by that is, let's say your home value is at $100,000, and between 2005 and 2007, it jumps up to $150,000. And let's say you decide to get a HELOC on your $50,000 appreciation you got. Now the problem is that you went and spent that money on a boat or on a vacation, and let's say you racked up some balance on your home equity line of credit. After 2008, the balance may have fallen down to $80,000, or I'm sorry, your home value may have fallen down to $80,000 from $150,000. I mean, you almost lost half of it, right? So let's say it falls down to $80,000 of home value, but what you owe to the bank, combining your mortgage and your home equity line of credit, let's say you're at $130,000. Well, there's a $50,000 more you owe than, right, what your home is actually worth, right? So that's a good reason why your bank may freeze your home equity line of credit, because you simply owe more than what your home is actually worth. They don't want you to go and spend money, and so. All right, we're gonna get a call from our first caller for the morning. Hello, this is Sam. You're live on YouTube.
Hello?
Hey, can you hear me?
Hello, I can't hear you. Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello?
Hello?
Hey, make sure, guys, when you call, talk to the phone, not YouTube. Okay, it's really important that you guys talk to the phone, not on the YouTube. Can you hear me, sir?
No, I'm not talking to the YouTube. I'm talking on the phone.
Okay, so you can hear me now then.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, we're here.
Can you hear me?
So yeah, this person might be talking to the YouTube.
For some reason.
Yeah.
Casey is asking for the HELOC strategy, why
Mhm.
not pay additional on monthly payments versus taking out a HELOC
Okay.
variable rate?
Awesome. So Casey's asking, why not just pay extra into the mortgage? Why do this whole HELOC jumbo mumbo when you can just throw extra into the HELOC? So that's a good question, and I get this question like a lot, and I'd be more than happy to address it for you. So Dave, before we take the next call, I just want to make sure we get Casey's question out of the way. So let's go and switch over to the whiteboard. We have this amazing whiteboard set up now with an awesome camera in the back. The reason why I'm going to draw actually, let's do it this way. Okay, so let's go and put it this way. Let's say you have your cash/checking account. Oh, that looks terrible. I'm gonna redo that here. So you got your cash and /checking account. Now, the question was, why not just pay extra into the mortgage out of your checking account, right? Instead of doing this whole HELOC method and paying out your expenses out this way. Now, the reason why the two reasons why I don't like putting extra money to the mortgage, well, it still works, okay? It works, but I'm gonna tell you guys right now that putting extra money into the mortgage is even more dangerous than throwing your money on your HELOC. Now, I know some of you might be saying, what? Like, are you crazy? Like, are you on some sort of drugs or, right? Okay, so two reasons why I don't like putting extra in the mortgage. Number one is that when you, let's say you throw in whatever is left over at the end of the day or at the end of the month into the mortgage. Let's just call it $500, okay? Let's say you throw an extra $500 a month into your mortgage principal, which is a lot. I know a lot of you guys don't even have extra $500 to throw into the mortgage. Now, by doing this, let's say down the road, and I hope this never happens to you, Casey, or anyone listening to this. Let's say down the road that you run into an emergency, right? Let's suppose you're painting your bathroom wall and you need to take a large piece of glass out of the wall and you drop the glass and you hurt your finger. Not saying it happened to me, okay? And you go to the hospital and you have to pay a huge hospital bill. Well, if you're taking all the extra cash that you have on a monthly basis and you're throwing it into the mortgage, is it possible for you to get that money back from your mortgage to pay for the medical expenses? Probably not. Now, the objection that I get to that is, well, Sam, that's why we have a savings account. That's why we have this extra thing called savings that we put in, and we use that savings to cover those emergencies. Well, guys, why not just take that extra savings? Okay, I'm gonna do another bubble here. Why not we just take the extra savings that you're earning, 2%, right? Because if you're lucky, you might be earning 2.5. You're probably earning no more than 2.5 on your savings. Why not just take that savings and throw it into the HELOC, saving you anywhere between 5 to 8% interest, because that's how much they're charging you on that HELOC. Why not just throw that extra savings you got, throw it in the HELOC, and remember, with a HELOC, home equity line of credit, you can reuse that money for a rainy day, right? You can always take that HELOC, whatever limit that you have on your HELOC, and cover those emergency surprise expenses that may come in the way. Life happens, right? Life isn't perfect, as I know we all want it to be, but it's not perfect. So take all of your savings and cash and throw in your HELOC, which again gives you that advantage of taking all of your income and attacking the principal balance on that HELOC instead of a mere $500, right? So would you rather want $500 denting your principal balance, or would you rather have all of your savings and your checking account income putting a dent on your principal balance? Obviously, you want all of your income, all of your savings thrown into the home equity line of credit to lower the average daily balance. Now, I know you might be saying, well, Sam, then how do we pay for our expenses? How do we pay for our bills? Well, remember, guys, the home equity line of credit gives us the ability to draw the money out whenever we want. Okay, you can do it either, most HELOCs will give you a convenience checks, they'll give you a debit card, like a plastic card. They'll even give you an online transfer so you can move money back and forth to your checking account to your HELOC in a matter of a few minutes. So you can have your HELOC pay for those expenses and treat your HELOC as if it's in your new checking account. Now, I know you might be saying, well, who does this, right? In fact, a lot of people, and we do a lot of research when it comes to making sure that this strategy works and it's safe and it's foolproof. One of the research we've done is that 1 out of 4 Australians, I know my audience, you guys listening, you guys are from the United States, but it's reported that 1 out of 4 Australians are using this strategy to pay off their debt as well as their mortgage, and it's a normal thing for them there. One of the big reasons why your bankers are not gonna talk about the home equity line of credit is when they sell you the home equity line of credit, they earn pretty much next to nothing in terms of commission. But if they sell you the mortgage, oh my goodness, they're gonna make a lot of money. So obviously, bankers and mortgage brokers are financially incentivized to sell you the HELOC, give you all the advertising and give you all the good stuff about the mortgage, but they rarely talk about the good stuff on the HELOC. In fact, they'll tell you, oh, it's variable, it's terrible. Don't buy the HELOC, don't get a HELOC. Well, yeah, because they don't get paid the commission as much as they do on a mortgage. Duh, right? And guys, I don't sell the HELOC because I'm not a banker. I'm not even licensed to sell you any of these financial instruments. So I'm not incentivized, whether you buy the mortgage, you get the mortgage, or you get the HELOC, I don't get paid, okay? The only incentive that I'm telling you guys to do this is I wanna help you. I wanna make sure that you guys are paying less to the banks. And I know all the bankers listening to this, you guys hate me because I just, I just told everyone the truth. So this is why I don't like just throwing extra into the mortgage. Does it work? Yes. But does it prepare you for emergencies? Does it get you that maximum saving? No. That's one of the big reasons why I prefer to choose the HELOC over paying extra into the mortgage. And I think paying extra into the mortgage is, I hate to say the word, but outright lazy. Because you're not going out there thinking about new ways and innovative ways to pay off your mortgage. And I think this is much more innovative and safe and gives you maximum saving in terms of paying off your mortgage. But anyways, good question, Casey. I appreciate you asking that question, and I hope that this makes sense to a lot of you guys. So I can take on the next question. You guys can call in with the phone number, I believe, right here. Am I pointing in the right corner? The other way? Okay, yeah, it's flipped. This way. Don't pay attention to whatever's over here. Pay attention to whatever's down here. Call that number and we'll take a question. I know we had several calls while I was answering Casey's question, so definitely call in. If we don't have any calls, we can go ahead and answer any questions that we have on the chat box.
We have a comment.
Okay, we have a comment / question.
Diego says the HELOC only works for who already have a mortgage for a while, not for new mortgages? ?
No, so that's a good question. Diego is asking, HELOC only works for people who have an existing mortgage, not a new mortgage or a new purchase. That's another myth that we get all the time is there are HELOCs for purchases. I know it's hard to believe because again, bankers don't want to talk to you and tell you about this because they don't make money, they don't make commission. There are purchase HELOCs out there. It's very similar to as far as the initial terms of purchase, you may have to do 20%, 25% down in terms of the down payment. The interest rate is higher, but remember, and I say this over and over and over again, each episode that we do this, your interest rate really doesn't matter in the context of using the strategy. Now, if you don't use our strategy, you go and get a HELOC and you do whatever you want, then yeah, you're gonna end up paying way more interest if you don't use it the way that we teach you. Okay, so if you use it the way that we teach you, yeah, the interest rate really won't matter. So Diego, to answer your question, there are purchase HELOCs. Not all banks will offer it. There are specific banks that will offer the purchase HELOC, also known as the first position lien HELOCs. There are banks that offer it. You just need to go find one. And in that line of thought, not all HELOCs are created equal. Okay, and I'll sort of backtrack and explain why. HELOCs are considered non-QM loans, which means they're non-qualifying mortgages. When it comes to mortgage is very uniform in a way that if you go to Bank A, Bank B, and Bank C, they'll be very similar in ways that they structure the mortgage, same disclosure, and all that. But same way, Bank A, Bank B, Bank C, they're all gonna offer different features in their HELOC. Some are gonna offer a 10-year draw, 20-year repayment. Another bank's gonna offer you a promo rate of 2% for 6 months. So banks have a little bit more liberty as far as what features to add or remove in terms of their HELOC offering. So just keep that in mind. Not all HELOCs are created equal. Just because your bank doesn't offer the right HELOC doesn't mean that any other banks would. Cool. All right, guys, we're gonna go and take another question. Call us in our studio. We'd love to chat with you. We open these phone lines, obviously, for a reason. We want to make sure that we get your questions answered, whether it's through chat or call. I actually prefer the call because, when I hear people and their voice and their tonality, the quality of the conversation goes up significantly than just reading a comment and answering a comment. And for the first time ever, we have our whiteboard open. So if you have a specific situation, let's say you're dealing with a specific mortgage or dealing with a specific situation, or you might be stuck or something. We're gonna go and write it out. We're gonna go and put your situation on the board, and we're gonna workshop it. We're gonna shop it through on how to, pay off your debt using our strategy. And I'll be honest, guys, if the strategy doesn't work for you, or you're way beyond the strategy, you don't need our strategy, and I'll tell you, I'm not incentivized to tell you the strategy works or not. I want it. Here's the thing, I want whatever's best for in your situation. Just because I'm a huge fan of the HELOC strategy doesn't mean that it applies to like all the situation. Although I believe that this strategy applies to 99% of the time, but you might be that one, that rare 1% that just simply doesn't work. So, any questions from the comment or a call? I mean, our lines aren't ringing right now, so you guys can. This is the perfect time to call if you guys have any questions.
There was a comment being made that if you have doubts, trying smaller chunks, $2,000 or $5,000.
Yep.
Fifth Third Bank even gives you reward points on their HELOC.
Oh wow.
Use a card with your HELOC.
There we go. That's actually the first time hearing that from Fifth Third Bank. They give you a line of credit that you can earn points, which is amazing. Can you imagine, like, that's earning points and getting rewards back for paying off your debt? I mean, that's thinking awesome. That's pretty hot. I mean, I might go check that out after our live's over. And then to the earlier comment, yeah, you can go and use a smaller chunk. So let's say you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even know how this strategy works. And if you're a little scared or if you're a little unsure, then you could take a smaller chunk of your mortgage and try it. Give it a try and see how much money you save and how much time you save doing a $5,000 chunk or a $3,000 chunk and working it that way. I think that's a phenomenal way to get comfortable with that rhythm of using that HELOC to pay off your mortgage. And I think it's a phenomenal way to sort of warm yourself up for that.
Christopher would like to know where are the best banks to get a HELOC?
Ooh, so so Christopher is asking which banks are the best. There are many. I'll just put it that way. One of the big reasons why we don't name a specific institution is because, one, we're not affiliated or associated with any of the institutions that we recommend. Puts us in a liability by mentioning any names, and I'll just put it that way. However, if you are, and I know a lot of you guys watching this, you guys are students of our program, our course on how to actually, we're gonna handhold you through the process of paying off your debt and your mortgage through our strategy. If you are a student of our course, you actually get a list of banks that offer some of the better, I should say, home equity line of credit products as well as an all-in-one loan. So, Christopher, I'm not gonna mention any names, but I will tell you what questions to ask to determine whether the bank is a good fit for you. The first question you should be asking is, what is a draw and repayment period? It could be a 10-year draw, 20-year repayment. The longer the draw period, the better. It gives you a little more flexibility. If you can get a 15-year draw or a 20-year draw, great. If you get an all-in-one loan, it's a 30-year draw, so you get the best of any feature you can ask for. So you can get a 30-year draw with an all-in-one loan. Typically with a HELOC, it's gonna be a 10-year draw. The most important part that you should be asking, the most important question you should be asking is there a limit to how much money I can draw, and what are the minimum limits, or I should say minimum draw requirements? So some banks may tell you, Christopher, you can only do 5 draws within a month. Well, that sort of puts you in a limit, right? It means you can't pull money out of your home equity line of credit more than 5 times. You wanna stay away from that. You want a bank that lets you do unlimited draws. So if you can do an unlimited draw situation where you can pull the money out however many times over and over and over out of the HELOC in a given month, that's even better. The other thing that you should be asking for is, can I do a direct deposit to my HELOC? It's not the end of the day if they don't let you do that, but it certainly makes it easier because you can always get your employer to pay you directly into the HELOC so that you don't have to worry about ever pulling the money out of the HELOC or manually depositing money into the HELOC from your checking account, okay? So those are some of the questions that I should ask to sort of interview which banks are the best fit for this strategy, Okay, now for those who are wondering, wait, what strategy is he talking about? At the end of this live video, I'm gonna go ahead and put down the link for our video on how to pay off your mortgage within 5 to 7 years on average. You guys can go definitely check that out, where I do a full explanation in terms of using our strategy, using a HELOC to pay off your mortgage, and doing it in a fashion where it's faster. You don't have to make more money to do it, or you don't have to cut back on the expenses to make the strategy work. Cool.
Tom from Facebook would like to know, how do I get the best HELOC rate?
How do I get the best HELOC rate? So, I don't know, Tom, if you were here a couple minutes ago when I said your interest rate really doesn't matter when it comes to the HELOC, but it doesn't hurt to have extra savings in the HELOC. Your interest rate is primarily determined by your credit FICO score, typically your FICO 8 or FICO 5. I think it's FICO 5 that they use for your anything that has to do with a mortgage or home equity or buying a home. So your banks are gonna look at your FICO score. Important thing to note is that not all FICO scores are equal. Again, different banks have their own scoring model. In fact, there's actually close to over 400 credit scoring models, I should say, depending on which institutions you go to. So ABC Bank may have a FICO 5 and their own variation on how they score. XYZ Bank has another variation as to how they score you. So your interest rate primarily depends on your FICO score. Typically, anywhere above 740 is going to get you closer to prime. Anywhere between 680 to 740, they may start to charge you a little bit more in terms of your interest rate. But again, going back to my original comment, your interest rate really doesn't matter in the context of this strategy. And I really want you to fight that, because the banks and the public has sort of, I don't want to say brainwashed you, but they sort of made you believe that interest rate is like the king, right? It's really not. What I'm trying to say is that your average daily balance is the king. If you focus on paying down your average daily balance, your interest rate really doesn't have much power and really doesn't have much of, I should say, pain when you're paying off your mortgage or any sort of debt, really. So focus on paying down the average daily balance and keeping it low, which ultimately translates to having a lower amount of interest and so on.
Surfer Choki
Okay.
says he's been trying to call him, but he can't right now. His mortgage debt is $32,000.
Okay.
And he's applying for the HELOC, waiting to be approved at 3.9%.
That's actually pretty good. That actually sounds like a promo rate.
For a year.
Yeah, there you go.
The variable starting at 5%.
Okay, 5% isn't too bad.
The rewards are great, but just don't want to pay it off. How long would you estimate it would take? 10-year interest only, the only 20-year to pay back.
Right, as a repayment period.
By a locked rate if needed for a $9 fee.
Okay, so I don't have the calculator in front of me, but what you can do, I don't know who asked the question, I don't even know your real name, but you can go and download I'll even put this on right here. If you go to Chop My Mortgage, I keep writing a G instead of an A. I don't know why I do that today. It's weird. ChopMyMortgage.com, you're gonna be able to download our free Excel sheet calculator. And you can punch in your numbers. You said you have a $39,000 mortgage, which is actually really low. You can punch in your numbers, your interest rate, as well as your situation, your gross income, and your monthly expenses. And our calculator will spit out a result, and it's going to show you how fast you can pay off your mortgage, as well as how much time you're going to be able to save. So if you go to chopmymortgage.com, you guys are going to get a free copy of our calculator, as well as our ebook to show you guys how the strategy actually works. If you want something more in-depth, you can call in our office, and then we'll set up a consultation with you to go over your numbers. Joel isn't in the office today, so we can set up a consultation call and help you, on the phone, actually help you and walk you through the process of why and how this will work for your situation. So for those who are wondering where the calculator is at, chopmymortgage.com is where you go to get it. And you'll be able to download it. One thing about the calculator is that it's not gonna work on your phone it's not gonna work on your phone. It's gonna work on your tablet, your laptop, or a desktop, just not on the phone. It's not very mobile friendly. We're working on that. So in the meantime, go and download this on your laptop, tablet / desktop. You'll be able to use, it's an Excel sheet. It's a Microsoft Excel file. So you can just punch in your numbers and it'll give you the outcome.
So So we had a person named Ruben.
Ruben, okay, Ruben's asking a question.
The person that you just asked the question.
Oh, okay.
You answered. So Kelly, I would just let her know that she can replay the video.
Okay.
To see the
Yep.
questions from
Yeah,
Kelly.
so Kelly's saying, can we see the
She
replay?
wants
Yeah.
to repeat from the bank, something in regards to repayment.
Oh, repayment. So I don't know, Kelly, I don't know what you're asking about the repayment period, but if you can clarify your question, it'll help me understand what you're asking for so that I can get you the accurate answer. So, yeah, which by the way, if you guys are watching this live, this replay will be available after. Make sure that you guys stick around if you guys want to watch the replay. It'll be available instantaneously. In fact, you guys will be able to watch it right after. And you can actually watch any of our other live replays. We have a playlist of all the recordings of any previous live. We actually, on Mondays at 11 a.m. Central Time, we do real estate question and answer. So I might even just throw that in there. So we have a real estate, investing, Q&A, every Mondays at 11 a.m. Central Time. Okay. I'm just gonna put that in there, Monday. So yeah, if you guys want to have questions and answer time for real estate investing specifically, we have Mondays at 11 o'clock Central Time that we answer your questions on real estate investing. We'll always even have a phone number for you to call to speak with Daniel and have your questions answered. That's on Mondays. Obviously, you guys are watching this on Wednesdays. We're here every Wednesdays, 11 a.m. Central Time, to answer your questions about the mortgage acceleration / the debt acceleration strategy. Okay. Any other questions from you guys? I know Chris is over there reading them out loud. Or you guys can even call in.
Can you refinance a HELOC?
Can you refinance the HELOC? Yes, you can. This is more so relevant if your draw period expires. So let's say you make it to, I'm just gonna leave this alone. Let's say you used up your 10-year draw period, then yes, at the end of the 10-year period, you can go ahead and reapply. And I like to use the word reset, but it's really not because you're getting a whole completely new HELOC. So you can go and reset your HELOC in the draw period and get another 10-year draw. Of course, if you use our strategy the right way, you should have a significantly lower mortgage balance at that time. Getting a HELOC with a lower balance should be easier than getting a HELOC on a higher balance, a higher LTV, I should say. So by then, if you use our strategy, then yes, you can definitely get a new HELOC, get a new set of draw and repayment period, and you can continue using our strategy. Now, another thing that a lot of our students in our course use the HELOC is once they pay off their mortgage, they start to use the HELOC to then go and start buying rental properties to create additional income. So that's something I'm actually a huge proponent of. I get this a lot, which is like, Sam, I'm gonna go buy a new TV with my HELOC, with my paid off HELOC. Yeah, you can, but I don't know if that's the right thing to do, or I should say the effective thing to do, because my suggestion is to use a HELOC or any financial instrument to go and buy and acquire income producing asset. So obviously rental property is an income producing asset. I highly recommend you guys go and invest instead of spurging your money away on ridiculous things like TV or a new car, unless your car makes you money, but probably not. All right, so any other questions for, again, you guys can call in. I'm trying to get the number out here. I know we took
Lizzie has a question.
Okay.
If I need to refi, which is better to get a regular fixed mortgage and then get a HELOC, or to get an all-in-one?
My answer, it depends on your situation. I'm gonna speak from the general, I'm sorry, what was the question again?
If I need to refi, which is
Okay.
better, to get a regular fixed mortgage or to then get a HELOC?
So the question is, if I want to refi, if I want to refi, should I get another mortgage and a HELOC afterwards, or should I just refi the whole thing into an all-in-one loan? Again, going back to my previous comment, it depends on your situation. I don't know your entire situation, which I would like to get to know to give you a more relevant and accurate answer. And I'm not giving you financial advice whatsoever. I'm not a certified financial planner. But in a general sense, in my general position, without really getting to know the details, is refinancing into an all-in-one loan is probably more effective if you're using our strategy. And what I like about the all-in-one loan is that it's got the sweep feature, which I'm actually gonna draw it on the whiteboard. So when you have an all-in-one loan, I'm gonna abbreviate it AIO. You put all of your income into the all-in-one loan, because your all-in-one loan, what it has is two features. It's got your checking account and it's got your HELOC rolled into one world. And what's nice is that you could, the all-in-one loan is gonna have a checking account number. It's gonna have a routing number. So what you can do is if you get paid direct deposit, you can give your employer, your HR department, or if you are self-employed, you can pay yourself right into the all-in-one loan. You can set up a direct deposit right into the all-in-one loan so that you don't have to manually move the money from your external checking account right into the all-in-one loan. You can just have your income come directly into the all-in-one loan automatically. Now, why I love the all-in-one loan is that it automatically takes whatever money you have in your checking account, and every night it moves the money over to your HELOC. Even if let's say you have a penny in there, okay? If you have 1 cent in your checking account, it's gonna move that 1 cent over the HELOC. Now, the reason why we do that, and we want it to do that, is to lower the average daily balance on the HELOC. If you don't know what that is, if you don't get why we do this, go and watch our explanation video, how to pay off your mortgage within 5 to 7 years. It's gonna tell you and explain why we want to put all of our money into the HELOC to lower our average daily balance. Now remember, when you refinance into an all-in-one loan, your mortgage goes away. So if you have a $200,000 mortgage balance, your mortgage balance essentially moves over to this new HELOC, okay? And you got your checking account, so every dollar that you pay goes into the HELOC, lowering this balance right here, the $200,000 balance, which again, if you lower the principal balance, it also lowers your interest. This is the reason why it's gonna save you the extra time and interest paying off the loan. And I get this question a lot. So Sam, do we have a monthly payment with the all-in-one loan? In fact, you actually don't, because every dollar that you put into your checking account, the bank knows that every dollar is insured to go into the home equity line of credit automatically. Okay? Now what happens if you need to go spend money on bills, expenses, groceries, whatever? You can pull that money out for bills and expenses, and it'll automatically do the opposite. It will bring the money out of the HELOC, put it in a checking account, flow through, and pay whatever bills that you have. Now, of course, you do need to be cash flow positive, meaning you can't be spending more money than what you make, because then you're gonna be perpetually drawing money out of the HELOC, which isn't good. So make sure you have even a dollar positive cash flow is gonna help you. Now, can you use this if you're living paycheck to paycheck? In the beginning, yes, but in the long term, I don't want you to be paycheck to paycheck. I want you to be at a positive cash flow, and luckily we do have strategies to help you get to positive cash flow almost instantaneously. So to answer your question, should you refinance into another mortgage? If you have the qualification standards, or if you meet the requirements for the all-in-one loan, I would definitely do the all-in-one loan just because it's easier to do the strategy with it compared to another type of financial product. Okay?
So that she went through a divorce, so she needs to refi.
Oh, I see.
a loan.
Yeah, so then if you need to refinance, I would suggest refinancing into an all-in-one loan, if all possible.
Cool. AIO is based on LIBOR.
A LIBOR?
LIBOR.
Yeah, so there are all-in-one loans that are LIBOR based, LIBOR index, which is London index. There are also that is based on US index. So I don't know, one of these days I'm gonna do a really angry rant. You guys keep asking me about interest rates and it's driving me nuts. Guys, again, interest rate, get out of that focus, okay? Your focus, okay, your true focus should be on average daily balance, okay? Repeat after me, focus on average daily balance, okay? The more we lower the average daily balance, the lower we're gonna go down in terms of our interest. And it's sort of like deprogramming all of you guys from thinking interest rate versus average daily balance. It's kind of scary how easy the banks can, advertise and do PR to convince you guys that interest rate is everything. It's not. It definitely is not, okay? Trust me, I know some of you guys might be thinking I'm smoking a pipe or a joint when I say that, but I'm not. Okay, I've been doing this, you know, to help people for quite a long time, and I found out the interest rate really doesn't matter. Okay, unless it's like 30-40% interest rate.
Jerry would like to know, do you still recommend using credit cards to pay bills, or should you use an all-in-one debt card in a AIO?
Good question. So I'm guessing it sounds like Jerry billing, but
Yes.
oh, it is. Yes. Welcome in, Jerry. So Jerry's actually one of our students in our course. That's how I know Jerry. Good question. This is something that I actually don't answer in the course, which I should. Phenomenal question. So all-in-one loan still uses daily balance. So I don't believe the all-in-one loan. Actually, no. You know, I take that back. I lied. The all-in-one loan does have a grace period. It doesn't charge interest right away. It's sort of like the credit card. It won't charge interest until next month. So you don't have to use the credit card strategy with the all-in-one loan, which is actually really good, right? It saves you extra steps. So if you don't know, for those who are wondering, like, what is this credit card strategy? I'm gonna do a little shameless plug and say, sign up for our course and you'll understand exactly why and what is a credit card strategy. But good question, Jerry. I'm glad you asked. That's a little clarification that I can make in the course itself. Okay.
Bobby Simpson, if we sign up for the 497 course,
Yeah.
will we get adequate information to talk to a bank? Meaning, is there a certain amount that you should chunk to your mortgage?
Absolutely. So is this who? August Simpson?
Bobby Simpson.
Oh, Bobby. Hey, Bobby. I actually know Bobby. We have chatted a couple times. Hey, Bobby. So Bobby, if you do sign up for a course, you will get enough information. In fact, we have, and I don't mean this to be a sales pitch. I absolutely don't. But Bobby asked, so I'm gonna answer. So our course includes what's called the Principles of Banking class, taught by Mr. Ron Bork. Ron's gonna go ahead and address all the things you're gonna need prior to your conversation with the banker. So Ron's gonna tell you you're gonna need this document, that document, this document. You should have this as far as your credit. You should have these documents ready to go, all stacked up in a nice, pretty way. And he's gonna explain to you exactly what you need to get to a banker and have that conversation so that your approval rate for a home equity line of credit or an all-in-one loan skyrockets, mainly because your confidence level and as well as your competency level is very high. And we're also gonna prepare, obviously we're gonna hook you up with the banker to talk to. So yes, our course will provide that information for you. Our course is almost like done for you because we give you the banker and their phone number. We set you up with them. We schedule the call with them. You're also gonna get a class on how to prepare your credit, how to prepare yourself and your documents, your banking, understanding how the strategy is gonna work. And I think for a limited time, we have our real estate investing course packaged into one. So you guys are gonna get that. Are we getting a phone call? I feel like I'm hearing something in the back.
No?
Yeah. Okay. So Bobby, I hope that answers your question. Love to see you signing up for a course. Again, I don't mean this to be a sales pitch or any plug. I usually try to save this 1 hour for just answering your question as much as possible without any single mention of our course or whatever. So, but we have people who ask, so.
Jerry says, thanks, Sam. Listy says, yes, thank you, Sam.
Okay. Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys.
Rob is kind of going back to the question that I know that we said we didn't want to mention, is the top AIO banks. I know we didn't want to recommend.
What's that?
Top AIO banks.
The top AIO banks. Yeah, sorry, Rob. We unfortunately reserve that to our students. But again, the questions that you should be asking to the lenders, you should be asking, how often can I draw out of the HELOC? What methods can I draw out of the HELOC? Is it an actual physical plastic card? Is it a convenience check? Or is it an online transfer? Is it ATM access? Those are the things you should be asking. And you should also be asking the rate locking feature, if you guys are so concerned about the interest rate, you guys should be also asking about that, which again, I don't care if the HELOC is variable or fixed. It helps if it's fixed, sure, but in the long run, it's not gonna matter as much. I'll put it that way, okay? Guys, you guys can always call. I know calling, we have a little bit of issues, but remember, when you do call, talk to the phone, not to the YouTube video, because when you call, you're talking to me instantaneously, but when you try to talk to the YouTube video, you're getting the delayed version. So when we broadcast it to YouTube, there's a 10-second delay between what's actually happening and what you guys are actually seeing on the video. So when you do call us on our phone line, our studio line, make sure you talk to the phone and listen from the phone, not to the YouTube video. Okay.
Rob has a HELOC first lien. Is it the same as an AIO?
It's not. So Rob is asking, is a first position HELOC, first position, I can't talk today. First position lien HELOC, is it the same thing as an all-in-one loan? It's actually not. The all-in-one loan is a very unique loan product. I've never seen it before prior to last year. What it does is the all-in-one loan automatically takes money from your checking account, which, by the way, your all-in-one loan is a checking account. Takes the money from your checking account and automatically transfers it to the home equity line of credit every single day, whereas a traditional home equity line of credit, they are two separate entities, your home equity line of credit and a checking account, two separate things. You'd have to manually transfer it over every time you have cash sitting in your checking account. You have to move it over back and forth manually. It's a lot of manual work. That's why I recommend the all-in-one loan, because everything's automated and you don't have to necessarily do all that, manual transfer back and forth. Cool. So I hope that answers the question, Rob, in terms of the difference between all-in-one loan and a first position lien HELOC. Okay. Again, guys, you guys can call in, okay, or you guys can type it in. But actually, it's more fun that you guys call in because I get to have a chat with you. I love speaking to actual voices instead of just ones and zeros and words and text. So you guys can go and call in. It's 708-529-6527. Again, that's 708-529-6527. You guys can call into our studio and get your questions answered. Speak to me directly and get your questions answered about your mortgage acceleration strategy. Dave, what time we have on the clock? 11:41. So we'll give about 10 more minutes for us to be on air and answer a few more questions that you may have about the strategy. So guys, whatever concerns or objections that you may have, we have an answer for it. I mean, like questions like higher interest rate or variable rate, those aren't anything new. We get those all the time. Questions such as, should I get a first position HELOC or a second position HELOC? We get that question a lot too. And we figured this out, guys. We deal with a lot of different situations every day, doing consultations and as well as taking on phone calls. In regards to the strategy and using our strategy. So go ahead and ask questions. I know Chris is taking lots of questions or taking a lot of pictures, so he's not reading the questions. But go ahead and call in, guys. I appreciate it's better that you guys call because I can actually listen to you. And
Top Secret Bear wants to know, what if he's not in debt?
Top Secret Bear is asking, what if I'm not in debt? Congratulations, Top Secret Bear. You are in like the top 10% of Americans and people around the world that don't have debt. If you don't have debt, focus on acquiring income-producing assets. So I would focus on getting more rental properties, buying businesses, something small they can start. I have a buddy of mine that's like obsessed with buying vending machines. And what's funny is he sells cosmetics through vending machines. So if you ever been in airports where you walk down the terminals and you see a vending machines with all the cosmetic products, that's one of my friends that owns a chain of different vending machines, and he makes pretty decent money, passive income, because again, the vending machine is doing all the work. He doesn't have to be there physically handing out the cosmetic products and taking money. He's got the vending machine and the machine that runs the software that runs the machine doing that for him. So, but yeah, so acquiring income-producing assets, preferably passive investments, those are some of the better investments that I suggest, such as rental properties, buying apartments. If you're debt-free, congratulations. Look to expanding your wealth as well as your income from there and out. Cool. All right. Any other questions that we see on the chat box?
Check Facebook.
All right. So guys, again, you guys can call in at 708-529-6527. Our office line is open. The number down here, right? Am I pointing the right corner? Sweet. So you guys can go and call in to our office and get your questions answered. And we do this every Wednesday at 11 o'clock Central Time. And Mondays, we reserve that time for real estate investing. Any questions that you have about fixing and flipping homes, buying apartment buildings, even doing syndication deals. Maybe you want to get into notes, buying notes, which is a very popular thing to do. What else? Wholesaling. We'll talk about wholesaling. And eventually we'll even have guests to do Q&A with us live, so that if you have a favorite guest, maybe you can do a suggestion. So go and leave a comment down below if you have any guests that you will want us to feature in our Q&A live sections. We can definitely invite those guests over and do a live Q&A every Mondays and Wednesdays, whether it's on real estate investing or the mortgage acceleration strategy. Okay.
Roger from Facebook would like to know, is HELOC interest rate tax deductible? If so, by how much?
Yeah, so I'm not an accountant. Obviously, I'm not giving any tax advice. You're gonna have to have a chat with your accountant. But there are HELOCs that could be tax deductible. That's why you go through different. If you go to different banks and their website, there's gonna be a little fine print letter that says interest rate may be deductible. Ask your accountant. So make sure you do, because I know there's certain situations in your finances where your interest on your HELOC may not be deductible. But if you have a certain situation, yeah, it could be deductible. You know, that's actually, we might actually have our good old accountant, Steve Hamilton, come in and answer that question. We may have a CPA come in or a tax professional come in to do a Q&A on taxes. So that's a good suggestion. We can do that for sure. We can set up a time for us to do that. Yeah.
So can a HELOC be called due at any time?
Yeah, so the question is, can a HELOC be called due at any time? Meaning, can the banks say, okay, Mr. and Mrs. Bauer, you can no longer borrow from a HELOC. In fact, you have to pay whatever balance on your HELOC into the bank. Yes, it could happen. Now, there's a couple situations that may cause to happen. Number one, if you do something stupid, and what I mean by stupid, if you overuse the HELOC over and over and over, or you violate any terms of the HELOC, then yes, they can call your HELOC due. One of the terms that you should be watching out for is that if your bank may require you, and this is not all banks, this is only certain banks. Certain banks may say you cannot use the HELOC as a down payment for another mortgage or another loan. If you violate that term, then yes, the banks have the right to go and say, sorry, Mr. or Mrs. Bauer, can't do this. We're gonna call the HELOC due. The more common thing, and this is what freaks everyone out, and this is why people are like super against HELOCs when it comes to HELOC being frozen or being called. This is actually a question, or this is a question that I answered earlier part of this show, is when, for example, let's say your home value is at $200,000 and you decide to get a home equity line of credit on your equity. Let's say a recession or market crash happens, and your home value falls down to $150,000. So we went from, let's see, I'm gonna actually use the board. So I'm gonna switch the view here, Dave. I know we're getting a call, but oh yeah, don't worry about that one. So let's say we have a $200,000 home value, okay, and it falls down to after recession, it falls down to, let's say, $150,000. And let's say you have a first position mortgage of $120,000 that you have left, but you went and decided to get a HELOC for, let's say, to make this fun, let's say $50,000. I got two doubles. Okay, make this a little bit more organized. There we go. So this is a HELOC, and this is your original first position mortgage. Okay, now you see the problem here? You went from $200,000 home value, in which in this case, you had a total of $170,000 of debt on your home, right? But after the recession, let's say it drops to $150,000, now you're negative $20,000. You're underwater by $20,000. In this case, yes, the bank's gonna say, sorry, you're in default, you need to become solvent, you need to pay us $20,000, or in some worst case scenario, your bank may say, you gotta pay the entire $50,000, you gotta pay that off, we'll let you keep the $120,000 mortgage, because that's fine. But Mr. and Mrs. Bauer, we're gonna require you to pay off that $50,000 immediately, otherwise we're gonna go ahead and foreclose on your home, okay? That's where the danger lies in. Now, The reason why I'm not concerned about this with our strategy is, remember, the focus of the strategy is to pay down this and this. So if, and again, and also another thing is we're not incurring more debt because we're not taking that $50,000 and buying something else or spending money on something else. What we're doing is we're taking that $50,000 line of credit and doing a principal payment against that mortgage, bringing the mortgage balance down. So ideally, we're not incurring more debt, we're just moving a piece of this debt over to another debt. And you might be wondering, why do we do this? Watch the explanation video. We're gonna go ahead and put it down below in the link description after this live session's over. But if you do what we tell you to do in this strategy and you follow it precisely, your mortgage balance is gonna drop really fast. So will your HELOC balance really fast. So let's say using this strategy, you've been able to pay off the HELOC and the mortgage down to, let's say, we're gonna throw a new number in there. Let's say you've been able to pay off your mortgage down to $80,000 and you only have a balance of $20,000 in your HELOC. The total of debt that you've incurred is only $100,000 against the $150,000, which is your new home value after the recession happens. So you're still in the green, right? You don't owe more than what your home value is. The banks won't have much problem with this because, hey, your debt to your loan to value ratio is still relatively low. This isn't gonna be a problem. So if you use the strategy that we teach you, you're actually gonna be in a much safer position versus just using that HELOC to buy some ridiculous things such as a new boat or a car or going to Vegas, going down to Mexico for a new vacation, whatever that may be. But if you use the HELOC for the right purpose and the right application to pay off your mortgage as fast as you can, bring the overall debt down on your home, even after a recession happens or your home value drops, you're still in the green, okay? But if you don't do that, then yes, there's a chance that the bank may call your HELOC due and may freeze your HELOC, and that could get you in trouble. And obviously you don't want that. We want to get you out of trouble by paying off the debt as fast as possible with minimal effort and keeping the income the same. Cool. Dave, what's the time? We have.
11:51.
Okay, so guys, we're gonna wrap it up. If you don't have any more questions, any leftover questions, I'll go and answer it after the live video and live session. We're gonna end it for today and wrap it up. Guys, thank you so much for being here. We'll see you guys next Monday for a real estate investing Q&A at 11 o'clock Central Time, right here on YouTube. And next Wednesday, again, same time, 11 a.m. Central Time for the live Q&A session. We'd love to see you guys back. All right, take care, guys. See you guys in the next video.